Hey, did you see that Kick updated its front page?
Yeah, we might be live. Now we're live.
I did not know.
Yeah. Who you texting?
My mother to let her know we're going live.
Because it's not like we're recording a fucking podcast or anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that. I never.
All right, so let's start this podcast with a lovely little ad read. Here's the problem. My son made fun of me.
Like you do.
So I didn't write a script. I allowed ChatGPT to do it for me.
Oh,
So
good Lord.
tonight, at the benefit of our lovely partners and sponsors, I will be reading an ad written by ChatGPT.
And then next week, I'm going to write one from the soul.
Yeah, okay, good luck. Okay, so tonight we are talking about our friends at Glitch Energy. Glitch Energy. Chris, are you ready for the Glitch Energy spot?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
And action.
Stop it. I'm not going to do it now. Fuck it. We'll do it at the end because of that.
Oh, you.
Okay, Glitch Energy. Elevate your energy levels with Glitch Energy. Our premium formula delivers unparalleled focus, endurance, and vitality to keep you at the top of your game. Don't miss out. Use code POPCORN at checkout and save 20% on your order. Fuel your success and stay ahead with Glitch Energy today.
That's 20% off with code POPCORN.
What? Why? ChatGPT didn't say that. Why did you ad-lib?
I wanted to emphasize because I love Glitch and the discount that we get.
Okay, 20% off glitchenergy.com.
Oh, I didn't realize that was going to start. See, I was watching for the ad.
It's ad time. God
Oh.
I know.
damn it,
No,
Chris.
that's
You know what,
great.
though? We
That's
messed
great.
up because we're supposed to wait for the show to start and
That's
then
great.
do the ads.
That's great. That's great.
Now we got it.
That is our ad for Glitch Energy. And clip it, and we'll post it to the TikTok, to the Twitters,
See.
to the...
Clip it and ship it.
This is why I blame
baby.
Tony, because you had me watching this stuff over here for the ad.
And you weren't paying attention to
We
the
hadn't actually
music.
started the show yet. Now we've started the show.
That's funny. Well, were you recording, though, at least?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
I mean, listen. In all of human history, nothing has ever gone wrong on a September 11th.
Oh,
So
no.
this
Oh,
is
God.
the first time.
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
The September 11th joke? Wow.
Take
so,
two.
You know,
From Mr. Woke over there. Do I need to do the ad read again?
Oh, sure. Go for it.
Okay,
It'd be
we're gonna
hilarious.
do the ad read again.
Get paid twice.
We'll do it. We'll talk to each other.
can I do
here.
the end action thing? I just love it.
No, because it drives me fucking crazy, and that's exactly why you want to do it.
No.
Hey, before you do that, let me double check something really quick. Just keep chatting.
Okay,
Make sure our audio's in sync
Just
on
keep
YouTube.
Chat GPT in.
keep ChatGPT in. That was perfect. Like I read that spot on.
You did. You did.
I was like,
You did. You
Yeah.
nailed it. You nailed it.
in an audio only podcast, you would not know that I was staring at my phone.
No.
The mistakes were
we
made
do suffer
because-
from the fact that we are a visual medium.
Yeah.
The whole
No,
point.
we're not. A podcast is an audible medium. Shut your face.
Yeah, but we also do this.
Yeah. Well, we're adding the visual medium as
So-
an addition.
The whole point of doing like the pre-roll before the song and everything is so I can make sure all of the platforms are in sync.
Gotcha.
And
Are
we
all the
didn't actually
platforms
do
in
that.
sync?
All the audio and video and everything is in sync. Because sometimes it starts and it's off a few hundred milliseconds. And we have to wait for it to catch up.
A few
Gotcha.
hundred milliseconds.
That
well,
makes a hu-
goddamn, Chris.
That's annoying as hell to see people's lips move out of sync. I may have problems. I will admit to that.
Okay, are we ready to read it again?
Go for it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about our partners at Glitch Energy. At Glitch Energy, elevate your energy levels with Glitch Energy. Our premium formula delivers unparalleled focus, endurance, and vitality to keep you at the top of your game. Don't miss out. Use code POPCORN at checkout and save 20% on your order. Fuel your success and stay ahead with Glitch Energy today. Visit them at glitchenergy.com. And don't forget, use your code POPCORN at checkout to save how much, Michael?
20%.
20%. Thank you very much, Glitch Energy, for being our best partner. Go ahead.
Insane.
Go ahead, you sons of bitches. Both of
And
you.
cut.
Okay, here's the best part. So this is ChatGPT ads. Okay, so we're going to start now Space Panda Delta. So I
Is
said,
it the same thing?
I said write the same,
oh no.
but for Space Panda Delta gummies.
okay.
So this is the incorrect ChatGPT ad.
Okay.
Experience a burst of energy and focus with Space Panda Delta gummies. No, because it's Delta 8 and Delta 9. These delicious gummies are packed with the perfect blend of ingredients to help you stay sharp and energized throughout the day. No, they're not. Use code POPCORN at checkout to save 20% on your purchase. Reach new heights with Space Panda Delta gummies. Order now and feel the difference.
Now here's the thing: the code is correct, and you can reach new heights.
Yeah, but it's not a burst of energy and focus.
Certainly not.
If anything, it's quite the opposite.
You know, once
You'll be
again,
having a conversation with your cat.
exactly. Once again, ask me what happened in the last episode of True Detective Night Country.
Hold
I
on.
don't
So
fucking know.
my response to that was Space Panda Delta gummies are Delta 8 and 9, not energy gummies. That's all I said.
Uh-huh.
And this is the final ad for Space Panda Delta.
Double ad.
Discover the relaxation and euphoria of Space Panda Delta gummies. Infused with Delta 8 and Delta 9, these gummies offer a smooth, enjoyable experience that helps you unwind and elevate your mood. Use code POPCORN at checkout to save 20% on your order. Enjoy the perfect blend of calm and bliss with Space Panda Delta gummies today.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
And where do you go to buy those?
SpacePandaDelta.com.
And what is the code for 20% off?
It's popcorn, baby.
That's right. So though that has been ChatGPT ads.
Yes. Now next
need a
week I'm gonna write I'm gonna write ads from my soul, and we're gonna have people vote and see which ones are cooler.
All right, so now let's give Christopher
Yes.
a moment of silence so he knows where to edit.
Okay.
Oh, I'm good.
Oh, Chris? Do you need a visual or audio cue from me on where to
Fuck
cut
up.
it?
I'm gonna twist
Do
your
you,
nipple.
well, if Chris
I
says
will
he
grab
needs
your
it, if
nipple.
Chris says he needs it, I
Your
kinda gotta do
nipple
it.
will be touching your knee when I'm
If
done.
Chris
If
says
you
he
do
needs
it.
it, I kind of
What?
gotta do it.
I will
Say
pull your
nipple or
nipple.
nibble? I know you said nibble. I don't
You
know
got
what I don't know what that nickname is. I don't know what
either.
I don't want to know what his nibble is.
You got it, Chris. You good though? You
Yeah.
don't need me to say anything.
No,
He's
dog.
good. He's the most talented sound engineer I know.
Chris. I didn't do the thing. You told me not to do the thing, and I did something different.
I would never dare write a review for a local production company that runs sound. For
Oh Jesus! Okay,
All
stop
right,
Cover
it.
bit.
Stop it! Stop it!
You can't tell that story twice.
Yes.
Yeah,
We've already
I
heard
didn't
it.
say names. I didn't mention names.
We've already heard. That's an off-air story. You're gonna get sued.
Okay. The other thing that we would like to talk about is our friends at Pup and the Pepper.
Right, well, start again. Let me get the camera just
Oh,
back
my
on
bad.
you, so we don't
Sorry.
have weird fades and crap. God, everybody, put up with this crap. I'm
God,
telling
can we
you.
get a new fucking director of this show? Jesus.
Oh, are we announcing that? I'm kidding.
Yeah, are we?
Mr. Fly by the seat of my
We
pants?
got
I don't
Neil
need to have
Blomkamp.
anything written down.
It
I
is-
want my producer to have to guess for a fucking hour as
You've
to
been
what he's
doing
gonna
it for
say
5 fucking years. Why do you all of a sudden need a script?
Because I'm in my 40s now and things are getting rough.
Listen, Chris, you got to forgive Tony. He turned 40 like 20 years ago, so
You-
he doesn't remember what.
You know what I
Eight
wanna
years
do?
ago, bitch.
I want to go back to our very first show and compare how much gray fucking hair I have. You.
I mean, you don't
Because
have any
of
hair
me?
now.
Yeah.
What are
What are
you
you
talking
gonna-
about?
Now I
because
know
of
I
me?
had another child and all this other
Oh.
stuff. COVID.
Chris, what are you
But-
going to compare to? You look like a baby now. You got nothing.
I'm like the guy who walks through the Walmart door at 7 a.m. and you're the 75-year-old greeter who doesn't talk to anyone except for 6-year-old kids all day long, and you're
I'll
so
talk to those
excited
punk-ass
to have
kids.
an adult conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so he doesn't like talking to the kids because the way you phrased it, I thought we were kind of getting into like a
Who
what's
likes
that-
talking to
what's that-
kids, dude?
Dr.
What?
Disrespect.
oh God.
No.
No.
Oh wow.
Whoops.
Okay, let's. Are we
Dr.
ready for Pop
Diddle
and the Pepper,
wait.
sir?
Dr. Kid Inspect. Am I
Dr.
right?
Pediatrician.
The diddler.
Dr. Disrespect is a pediatrician.
The pedos.
Uh-oh.
Okay, Christopher, are we ready for our next partner? Okay.
Can
Go ahead.
you, if
Go
I
ahead.
lift it?
Go
It's
ahead.
Pup and the Pepper.
No, I mean you can do your thing.
Oh, okay. Action.
God, I hate my life.
Bro, try and be me. I gotta drive this guy home.
He has to corral me at 2 jobs.
Yeah, it's crazy. Luckily, we haven't recorded in 3 weeks. Okay, so yes, our friends at Pup and the Pepper. You can find them at pupandthepepper.com in many local artisan groceries across the country. Check them out at pupandthepepper.com. Personal friends of both Chris and I. We've known them for over a decade, wouldn't you say?
Oh, I've known Ryan for 18 years now.
Yeah.
They don't like me though.
They make quality, award-winning artisan hot sauces.
So good.
Yeah, some of the best. Scarlet Reaper, so fucking good. Here's the thing: most Carolina Reaper hot sauces that you get don't have that little bit of vinegar flavor to them,
Gotta.
and that vinegar flavor is what makes that hot sauce so good. I love it. Check it out, pupandthepepper.com. At checkout, if you use code popcorn, you will save 10% on your hot sauces, which is awesome. So go show them some love. They are a small business. They are competing in hot sauce championships across the nation, and they are winning awards like crazy. They have some really, really great sauces, and we love everything about them, and they take great care of us. So check them out, pupandthepepper.com. Buy some merch. Proceeds from all the sales go to animal rescues across the country. So
Hell yeah.
really good cause. Chris, what's the web address again?
For Pup and the Pepper?
Yeah, that's who we're talking about.
Yeah, I believe it's just that.
It's almost like the director and editor of the show should listen to the show.
I was. I thought you knew.
No, I know. It's pupandthepepper.com.
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 What?
Pupandthepepper.com.
Oh, okay.
Pupandthepepper.com.
And what's the code at checkout?
It's code popcorn.
Yeah. And you save 10% on
Your hot sauces, not merch, just hot sauces. But it's the best part.
Yep.
Put in code Tony's buying.
No,
Tony's
that,
buying.
That code won't work.
Oh.
If you put in code Tony's buying and your credit card information, they will send you hot sauce. So that's
You might see a charge. We don't know for sure. So yeah, pupandthepepper.com. We love you guys. Thank you so much for everything you do for us.
and I am running out of sauce. So
Hey, did you know if you go to pupandthepepper.com, add some hot sauce to your cart,
is
and
that
enter
right?
code popcorn at checkout, you'll actually save an additional 10%.
That's ridiculous.
I know, right?
Ridiculous.
Ridiculously cool. Or in
wow.
this case, ridiculously hot.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you knew that was coming, right?
That's
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
And then we have one more partner, and this
Mhm.
partner is very close to our hearts. CoffeeDudesCoffee.com.
No.
Yeah.
CoffeeDudesCoffee.com. No, stop it. I'm gonna smack here. CoffeeDudesCoffee.com is owned, roasted, and shipped by our very own Chris. Producer Chris,
It's a swell guy.
tell us a little bit about your coffee company.
Oh boy. What is there to say?
Do you need me to write you a script from ChatGPT?
Don't worry, Chris. I got.
I
it.
was thinking
it's a
about
shell
it.
Company.
It's
It
a
is a
shell
shell company.
He says that he's getting the beans up from Colombia, but no, it's coca.
It's Coke.
Wow.
And to the
Fresh.
FBI agent monitoring our Kick and YouTube channels, this is jokes.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. Wink.
It's fresh, uncut coca leaf. Chris
No,
then
stop
takes
it.
it,
Stop it.
takes it to his warehouse here in,
Hand roasted artisan coffees roasted by our very own producer Chris. I am not a massive coffee drinker, but Chris will tell you that I drank a cup of black, what was it, Colombian roast?
Possibly.
And it was delicious. It didn't taste burnt like some of those other big coffee chains named
Boo.
after a siren.
Burnt coffee bad.
It was fantastic. So, producer Chris, CoffeeDudesCoffee.com makes some amazing coffee. Definitely check him out. Show some support. This man has worked on this podcast tirelessly for 5 years and hasn't been paid a dime. So show the man some love.
And I may not legally be able to say that it's actually coca, but it'll give you the same kind of energy.
You know what
That's
though?
for sure.
I was trying to do a fun coupon code for the
This is
show.
Clearly, you've never done cocaine if you think it's the same kind of energy.
You're right. I have
Maybe
not
if
done
you
cocaine.
soak a tampon in coffee and shove it up your ass, that'll give you the same kind of energy.
Holy shit, that would
happening right
probably
now?
that
Boofing
would,
some coffee.
that would fuck you up. That might be a ride. I don't know. Chris,
You and
can
that
you give me a
Supreme
pot?
Court justice like to boof stuff.
You guys are out of control.
Yeah, we are. It's been a minute.
Yeah,
Someone
I-
had COVID, and then
You know, I had a friend like ask me about that. I was like, surely that's not a thing people do. And I was like, that is a thing people do,
It
brother.
is.
You would not believe how well your asshole can absorb things.
On
Go to
that
the
note,
show. Go to the show. Let's put that
How
on
you
a
doing,
t-shirt.
Mama B?
Actually, I gotta be real. I
Jesus.
don't. My parents might not be watching today because
Aw,
they are
man.
traveling. I think they're gonna try, but even if they're not watching live, they'll probably watch the VOD later. But
So you'll get yelled at about talking about soaking
yeah,
shit up
like
with your
4
asshole
months
later.
from now, I'm gonna get yelled at about boofing.
that you
Oh,
or
I got
me?
a text. Oh, she's watching. Okay,
Okay, good.
I don't do that. I don't do that.
Okay. You're the only one telling us how great it is.
I don't do that. I-
That's funny.
I heard about it.
I think
from
I
the-
know what our coupon code is going to be for Coffee Dude's Coffee.
Oh no, I heard about it from the other kids at school. I didn't.
From the other. Bro, you went to school in New York. Come on.
No, I went to school here. I left New York when I was like 8 or like
you would
9
have
or
still
something.
gone to school. You don't
That's
think
true.
kids were
It's like
boofing
first
in
grade.
elementary school?
At my Catholic school.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually do
Those
know.
nurses were those nuns were probably boofing.
I did know a kid at Carmel High School though who dipped a tampon in alcohol and put it in his butt and was gonna like have it up there all day and got like alcohol poisoning.
Did you know that Carmel High School was the basis for the show choir in Glee?
I actually did know that. Yeah,
because
there-
Ryan Murphy went to Carmel High School.
isn't or I thought they were they the rival Glee club or were they the
They were the rival. You're right. Yeah.
because aren't isn't the rival one like Carmel High or something?
Yeah.
Like,
Ryan Murphy actually went to Carmel.
that man's got a twisted mind.
I know, right? Carmel. I think it's in the state of Indiana, right? Well, we're here
Yeah, I
in
mean, I've never
South
been
Dakota,
there. I've never been there.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Funny, I'm in Bangor, Maine, and we meet
Bangor,
over
Maine,
here.
huh? What is this, a Stephen
Yeah.
King novel?
What did you say, Chris?
I just repeated what you said.
Okay, Bangor. Yeah.
Hardly knew her.
Bangor. I hardly.
That's actually where my
Okay.
mom turns it off.
Yeah, that's
when
what
she's
mom's
done.
like. No, I did not raise that child. Okay, cool. So,
I did create a coupon code.
oh shit,
tonight.
Oh shit! What
Yeah.
is it? What is it?
boofing is fun.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Chris.
Oh
no,
no.
no. Because
Okay,
I
so
have
go to
decorum.
Coffee Dudes Coffee.
Quorum.
CoffeeDudesCoffee.com, and at checkout enter code.
Off the rails.
Off the
Oh, I
rails.
mean that's
All
fair.
one word.
Not as fun, but
No,
fair.
because I'm a family company.
Okay.
Oh yeah, like your code wasn't motherfucker. Like
It wasn't.
ago.
It was Monkey Trucker, literally.
Trucker.
Oh yeah,
It was
okay,
literally Monkey
that's
Trucker.
right.
Way to take it to the
It's
next
the
level.
kid-
Have
the
you guys
Kids
seen
Bop
the
version.
memes of Kamala when she almost called Trump a motherfucker at the debate last night?
Yeah.
This
Honestly-
former president.
That's honestly though, possibly the most relatable thing.
Dude, there's like
Yeah.
the trend going on right now on TikTok is people watching the debate in bars, doing the drinking game, right? The debate drinking game.
Oh
that happens.
yeah.
And the cheers that go up during that section, and you can hear people in the background going, "Motherfucker!"
It's honestly, I can't think of a single thing more relatable than wanting to call Donald Trump. a
I can't
motherfucker.
see. I mean,
That was
think
insane
of anything
last
more
night.
relatable than doing it on stage in front of a
Just
national
be like
audience.
this.
It was fantastic. Talk
Former
about relatable. Okay.
Oh, but you didn't ask the details of the coupon code.
Oh, what are the details?
Yeah, I guess
of
that's
the
kind of
coupon
important.
code?
It's 69% off.
20% off now through next Wednesday.
Now through next Wednesday, which means that
Only
only
use it
people
one time.
who are watching it live will know about it because it won't
Yeah.
be edited for 3 weeks.
Oh no, they're edited. Someone just doesn't upload them. Or
Well, you
they
gotta
can go
tell
live.
me when you upload.
Oh, I have.
My two dads are fighting.
There is one episode up there. There's one.
Yeah, post it.
And I listened to it today, and this man sounds so angry in it. I feel bad.
I'm such a happy person. I don't know. Do I sound angry now? Do
I-
sound
Wait,
angry?
so wait, you looked at it today? It's been up there for 3.5 weeks.
It's been up there for 2.5 weeks.
3 weeks. 3 weeks.
And it's set to auto publish on September 20th.
Yeah, because it makes me set that. Which is why I didn't want to have a bunch of them
Yes.
up there, like,
Just
you know,
in case I
just-
forgot or something.
kinda.
Yeah.
So I was waiting for you to post that one,
No,
then
because
I'll push the
I
others.
wanted to write better descriptions, so I'm listening to it and trying to write a good description around it.
Well, Spotify doesn't like it when you put a ton of episodes up there that are all pending.
Correct. I've thought, I wish there was, and there probably is, and feel free to write into the show. I wish there was an AI tool that would listen to an audio file and write, and you could tell it to write like 120 characters
I'm
synopsis
sure
of the
there's
episode.
got.
I don't know. I'll ask that guy that we work with that
Oh,
nobody
yeah.
likes and see if he knows of anything. Hopefully he's not listening
That's
to
a mirror at the other side of the office.
What?
Oh no. He's shit talking you.
I used to
Anyway.
work there. We all used to. Well, you guys still do.
Yeah,
I
he knows
used to.
Chris. He
Yeah.
hates Chris.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I get that.
Okay, so
Just
here's the
about ruined
deal.
all this equipment.
We haven't recorded for a minute, so I asked my dear friend Michael here to come up with some news.
Yeah.
I don't truly believe that he did, but he claims he did. So
No, I did. I had some stuff on a note, and then I went and unliked a bunch of stuff on Twitter, so I would only have a list of tweets of the
Gotcha.
stuff I wanted to talk about.
So movie and pop culture and video game news with Michael.
Yeah.
I need a jingle.
Do-do-do-do.
Are you gonna write me a theme?
No.
I should.
Can you do a drum only theme?
I can do anything I want. I'm the
I
producer.
think, what's the Whiplash? The drum only theme from Whiplash.
Oh yeah.
But-
No, you know, I saw a thing today. Right after I sat down at my desk. I pulled out my phone.
Thank you.
No, I saw it earlier in the day. I know you love to.
Wait,
collect.
why did you were working earlier in the day? What were you doing?
It was during a I'm allowed to have downtime moments at work.
Yeah, not when we're behind.
That's why there's a
You
toilet.
don't gotta tell everyone that we're behind.
That's-
Anyways,
yeah, that's what Avery's doing for 45 minutes every shift.
I know you're a big fan
Don't
of
touch me.
collectible popcorn
Okay, you
buckets.
can touch me.
Are you familiar with the Terrifier movies by chance? Have you seen the Terrifier 3 popcorn bucket?
Isn't that the clown?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen the bucket.
So there's a Terrifier 3 popcorn bucket they're coming out with, and it's just straight up the clown's face with a Santa hat, because this one is like a Christmas themed one. And I believe you like pull it right out of his goddamn mouth if the
So
if
it's
the-
basically the Wolverine bucket. From...
it kind of seems like it, yeah,
Yeah.
but much creeper.
nice.
Much
Dude, I saw
creepier.
the Beetlejuice bucket. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well,
The black and white snakes.
friend of the show, your son got a Beetlejuice cup. It was like it's like the shrunken head when he went to the movie. There,
You
and
okay?
it's really cool.
Are you having a stroke?
Did I stutter?
No, you're saying like 12 times.
I do
Uh,
that a lot. I used to have a foreign language teacher in
Do you
high
smell
school
toast?
all the
Oh,
time.
I love toast.
Okay.
Am I not supposed to? This side of my face feels a little.
Yeah,
weird.
I'm sure. It's drooping. It's not the Space Panda gummies, though, because they give you energy.
That's true. But I don't know. I like this kind of weird renaissance of like popcorn buckets and collectible cups.
Yeah. Oh,
It's,
no.
like,
And
so
the
fun.
Alien Romulus one is really cool, too. But the problem is,
Mm.
when you look at it from below, it looks like a cock and balls.
That's fair,
Jesus
but that's
Christ.
why I like the one that's like the test tube. better.
Yeah.
I
The
still,
specimen container.
I'm so mad that I missed out on the D&D one. But because do you remember
Chris has the Ghostbusters one right there.
That's cool. That's really cool. I don't really care about Ghostbusters. that
I
much, so-
did get the Wolverine one, and it's been untouched by butter.
I have the
and pop.
Spider-Man one too.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
No, we went to fucking
Downstairs.
see Dungeons and Dragons in like March of last year, and I was like, "You still got the popcorn bucket?" And literally, you could see popcorn buckets
No, we
behind the
sold out.
counter, and he goes, "No, we don't got any." And I'm like,
And your soft ass let him get away with that?
"Well, I'm not gonna fight with a teenager."
Why not?
At a movie theater, Tony. I'm
Why not?
30 years
I'm a
old.
grown ass man, and I need
Yeah,
that
which
bucket.
you have the clear advantage. So
I am an adult, and I want that Dungeons and Dragons popcorn
I'm
bucket.
like, listen here, you little shit. I'm looking for a new bucket to put my dice in.
you're saying
Right,
it wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am? I am the co-host on the number 22 movie podcast in the nation.
And then he stops and he looks at me and goes, "Yeah, we're out of that popcorn bucket." I think I'm willing to believe that maybe it was a display one, like for display purposes, or someone had bought, because it was just like one sitting there.
Right.
But I do you remember?
He was afraid you were going to Karen him down 10% because
He
it's been
literally-
sitting out.
He literally was like, "No," and I just looked at Tony like, and Tony's just sitting there like looking at me like a disappointed father. Like, what are you gonna do about it? Like, I'm not helping you.
Story of my life.
He's like, "I'm not helping you here."
I'm going to turn this so that the brand is visible.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good
There
idea.
you go.
Let's see what else we got. I mean, pop culture news wise.
I thought you wrote these down.
I did, but I remember the
Can we talk
pieces
about
that
the
you had
earrings?
written down. I remember.
Have you seen the earring thing?
Uh, yeah, her Tiffany earrings
claiming that she had
have been
audio
listed
earrings.
Kamala.
What?
Yeah, they're claiming that she had headphone like earrings on because there's a Kickstarter out there that has like
Earrings that
pearl
look
earrings,
similar.
but they don't actually exist,
Is
and they
that
don't
what
look
that's about?
they don't look anything like her actual Tiffany
Yeah,
earrings.
and Tiffany, like there has a website that has been up called "What is Kamala Wearing" for
Yeah, yeah,
3 years,
But
and those earrings were listed on the site like 2.5 years ago as Tiffany
Oh.
earrings, and she wears them all the time.
the
They're like
crazy
favorite.
right-wing news people are running with
I
it.
saw a couple of people like on like Twitter and people I knew talking about it, but I
Yeah.
hadn't really looked into it yet, so I didn't know.
Just
I-
watch Hassan; he'll tell you what you need to know.
A lot of times when that comes up, and then I look at it as someone who's worked on like a live stage before, I'm like, they're
Oh, there
wearing
it
mic
is.
packs.
There it is.
What?
No, they're no. I mean, yes,
Well, because a lot of times they'll have like because people,
but they actually had a podium microphone.
Well, no, I say it happened in 2022 when, or maybe it was 2016, and people were like, "Oh, you can see like the wire up the back of
Does
the
that say "mommy"?
mama, like MOMMA, like mama,
Mama.
ma."
Mama.
They were showing like a wire up the back, but it was like the stage direction piece. Like they had like a piece where they tell them like, "Okay, you're supposed to like you like when they're like which
Yeah.
camera," and they tell them which
Yeah.
camera to focus on. So it's just one of those. That's always one of those things that gets brought up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man,
Oh, hey, did I tell you about our new film school dropouts merch?
what a bad time for an ad plug.
If you go to popcorntribunal.com and click on shop, you can get our new film school dropouts merch.
Yeah. I need to get me some. Film school dropouts. Anyways, moving on with the pop culture news.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you motherfucking know.
Yeah. My design, his idea.
So, in our absence, I don't know if we had time to talk about this, or if I think this happened while we were gone. Act Like got fucking canceled.
Yes, and Manny is not happy.
No, so Dragon Con, which is a
Yes.
convention in Georgia.
If you could have one thing
yeah.
that you really, really want in life, what would that be? Oh, that's a great question. Season 2 of The Acolyte.
Yeah, which you know what, good for him, man.
Yeah.
So for people who
Way to speak out against the House of Mouse, who you'll never work for again.
for people who don't know so much, San Diego Comic-Con is kind of like the one where the companies are really big and get to do presentations. Dragon Con is more known for like weird drinking debauchery and
Autograph
also
sessions, and
also like actors doing panels and getting really involved.
Isn't Dragon Con the one that made the kid from Stranger Things cry?
I don't remember. I know it's in Georgia, and it gets weird.
God,
But
Georgia.
so I mean, yeah, that got canceled. Listen, it's been like 3 weeks since it happened. I've had time to process my emotions. I do have a lot of feelings on that show.
Man,
getting
here's the
canceled,
thing. I did not like the series, but I really liked Manny in both of the roles that he played.
Yes.
I really, really, really liked Amandla
Yes.
and the characters that she developed for both of the characters she played. I think the series was done wrong, in my opinion.
I have a thought on that too as well, but I want to know what you
And
think.
I think that those three, four technically character arcs could have been played to a different tone and potentially saved the show.
Yeah. I think
There was a lot of unnecessary death.
I think the biggest cataclysmic error with that show was it had way too much budget for what they were actually doing with the show. That show had
Well, the other thing is, unlike most of the other shows, there was a lot of fucking dialogue.
Yeah, it's kind of the first Star Wars
Those
project.
women directors love to talk. No, I'm just kidding.
Good
just
lord!
kidding.
Edit,
God.
edit, edit, edit,
Hit the
edit.
button.
God damn
Hit the
it.
dump it.
Dump it now. I think the big like thing that people always say is like Star Wars is for kids because that's like George Lucas's thing, and usually
Wait, who says that shit?
I see people.
If you say that shit, I don't care. Stop listening to the podcast. If you tell me that Star Wars is for kids,
So my take on
why
that.
are you
usually,
trying to touch me tonight?
I don't know. I love you.
Okay.
My
love you
take
too.
on that. My take on that usually is that I don't think Star Wars is
I
specific.
think I'm doing a heart. I'm having a seizure, or I'm doing it. Come on, finish it. Here we
I
go.
wouldn't say Star Wars is specifically for kids, but I think what is important is Star Wars should always be accessible for kids. It should always be something
Unless there's a bunch of kids getting killed on screen.
Well, and so that's the Acolyte was the first Star Wars project where I would say like probably you might need to hold off on
A little violent.
showing that to your kid. So I think that might have hurt it a little bit. I do think it had way too much budget for it being an 8 episode season with like 30 to 40 minute episodes. That's ridiculous.
That
So
aim assist is so good.
oh yeah, right. But like so there was things working against it, but I also think as much as people may want to argue about this, you cannot pretend that the outrageous social media backlash just because people were mad over optics did have a
Oh,
huge
what
impact
you
on that
mean? A
show.
lesbian director, female writers, female leads,
Yeah, female leads.
misogynistic assholes writing reviews,
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of people who are trying to argue, well, it was just a numbers thing.
cracking jokes about how female directors put too much
Well, yeah,
dialogue in.
what
it.
kind of misogynist asshole would do that?
I don't know, man. If
There,
only they didn't know that I was joking.
there's no doubt that that show, even for a Star Wars project, faced an unprecedented level of.
I mean, the Eternals, so it's pretty precedented.
Well, so I mean,
It's pretty precedented. There's a precedent.
it was from the second they announced that Leslie Headland
Yeah,
was
the
directing and
Eternals
Amanda
had
Stenberg,
a negative Rotten Tomatoes rating before
Yeah.
it was even released.
and so there are a lot of people who say that didn't have a part in it. Let's get real for a second. It did. It did because I knew people
Let's get real, man.
I knew people who weren't big Star Wars fans who, when that show would come up, they're like, "Oh, I heard it was really bad."
I mean, it was bad.
I understand your reasons for disliking the show, but I don't think that makes it bad.
Hmm.
But also, like, would you say it was bad enough that it should be blasted out there and no
Let
one
me
should
ask
watch
you
it?
this question to counter your question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that a singular show that changes or adjusts canon that has existed for almost 47 years, like 1977, right?
Yeah.
That has existed for almost 47 years.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's good or negative? Is that a positive or a negative?
I think it depends on what is changed and how they're doing it, but the show also didn't like break anything in canon.
I thought that was one of the biggest complaints from the first 2 episodes.
So people were complaining and trying to say that the way the twins were created in that show,
Yeah, because they
What-
weren't birthed.
yeah, they were trying to say that made Anakin Skywalker's whole thing like it like invalidated Anakin Skywalker. But by the end of the show, spoiler alert, it's two very different things. Where Anakin is
Is
still
this pre or post Anakin?
it's like 150 years before.
Okay.
So it's still a fact that
So is the canon that this creates the fact that a character like Anakin or Luke or Leia or down the road, that the origin of the Metachlorians and the Force is created instead of a genetic mutation?
no, I think specifically what the show is setting up is that
Because that feels like a canon change.
the only thing the show really sets up is the fact that the main witch, Mother Anastasia, was powerful.
That was the other thing. The witches thing weirded me out.
A lot of people had some trouble with it. I
And,
can
and it's not
understand
a
that. I can
religion thing.
understand that.
It's like, is it like there was a lot of things, like there's a lot of like people used to think magicians were witches or wizards,
Sure.
things like that, right? I'm trying to think if they were trying to build a world where people that could use the Force were outcast because they were witches, and so they
I
embraced
mean,
that
yeah,
title.
that's pretty much. I think they kind of established in the show that if you're not a Jedi, most people think you're doing something wrong with the Force. But I mean, the show really only makes it into a story of Mother Anastasia was powerful enough to take one existing life and separate it into two people.
Do me a favor, don't make that motion after just saying the word anus.
She didn't create life. So Anakin is still the only person in Star Wars who was purely created by the Force. All they did in the show was there was already an existing baby that was
No,
born,
because Anakin was birthed.
but he was created by the Force. He's Jesus in Star Wars. He's a virgin birth. He was not.
Then how did he have a father?
He didn't. Anakin didn't have a father. He just had his mom on Tatooine. Shmi. That's the whole thing. Qui-Gon's like in Phantom Menace. Qui-Gon's like, "Who's the father?" And she's like, "There wasn't a father. I carried him and then I gave birth to him."
I don't remember that.
Yeah. So Anakin is.
I mean, if anyone's gonna know, it's gonna be your geeky
Yeah.
ass. So.
Anakin is purely a creation in the Force. He's meant to be like the Jesus character. Like
Sure.
he's a virgin birth.
In the space opera, he's
Exactly.
the king or the Jesus
Yeah.
character.
And so people were trying to say, "Oh, well, the twins' birth is the same as Anakin." It's not though, because taking an existing life and using this like force magic to create two identical beings.
Is the force magic or is the force a natural?
So I think the force is a naturally occurring thing, but people can also access it in different ways, and the
Sure.
witches use what Star Wars calls magic to do it instead
Sure.
of like traditional force.
It's like space superheroes.
Kinda, I guess,
Gotcha.
yeah. So I don't think that invalidates it really because it's similar. They're similar things, but it's two very.
I promise you,
different
this is not a
things.
Star Wars podcast.
No matter how hard I try. Um,
I
so-
am gonna let my son come and do an episode with him, and they have a. You guys are gonna talk about anime
well, I think we're
or
we're,
anime.
we're settling it down between two different categories, but it's either going to be an anime thing or a Studio Ghibli thing. So.
It's the same thing. Cartoons.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
why he's gonna kick down that door and come kill you.
Fucking cartoons.
But either way, listen.
One in Japanese, one in Chinese,
Either way,
and
I
some
think,
in Korean. It's cartoons.
Either way, I think the whole thing with the Acolyte is kind of endemic of the fact that I think the streaming model for shows is starting to not work.
Here's the thing. I think the problem, honestly, I think the
Yes.
problem comes from Disney Plus going from $6.99 to $16.99
Yeah,
in a period of 6 months.
yeah,
I think that turned off a lot of people.
sure,
And they
sure.
realized that when they spent a lot of money on the Acolyte, and all of a sudden they're starting to see millions of people canceling their service because they increased the price by $10 a month. You
Yeah.
put two and two together, we don't want to pay for series anymore. Everything is going back to large form
'Cause
factor. Because
everything-
now they've said out loud, with the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, Marvel is going to start putting out more films.
Yeah, and with what happened with Acolyte,
Which is the exact opposite of what they said 3 years ago.
yeah, and I mean same thing with Acolyte. We probably aren't going to see another Star Wars show after we have Skeleton Crew in December, and then Ahsoka.
Which I got to
season
be
2.
honest, it's the first one I've been fairly excited
It
about.
looks really good.
Yeah.
And then I mean Ahsoka season 2. I know you didn't finish Ahsoka. It came out last year, and they confirmed at Dragon Con they're not even.
Why
gonna,
are we not getting an Obi-Wan season or Kenobi season 2?
because people panned that shit.
God, I
Ewan
love that
McGregor's
show.
fight.
That
That's
show
actually,
was so great.
That's actually one of the things I have on the list that Ewan McGregor's pushing to get another.
That show was
Obi-Wan
so
season.
great.
But like when you look
Wendy was even interested in that show.
at, yeah.
Only
like-
because she loved the little Leia character.
Oh yeah. But like when you look at how they're doing it, like Ahsoka season 2 came out last year, it ended in like September, and they just confirmed at Dragon Con they're gonna start season 1, and they just confirmed they're filming season 2 starting next summer. So by the time
Fucking
that comes
Game of
out, it's
Thrones
gonna be like
fucked up that model, dude.
it's gonna be like 3 years
Yeah.
between seasons.
And everything they do to film these shows is done to make them filmed
Yeah, I'm
faster.
sorry.
With this whole dome thing
Yeah.
that they're
Oh,
doing,
the volume, yeah.
the technology that Favreau helped invent and all
Yeah.
that stuff. It's like everything about it is to streamline the process. Why
Yeah.
why go the
It's-
Game of Thrones model?
I
mean,
really do
literally.
think the streaming model is coming to an end where it got big in
it's
2019.
transitioning back to reality shows.
It got big in 2019,
Yeah.
and then because of COVID, obviously streaming like that was king, and so many studios were putting everything into that. But now you're like, people aren't satisfied anymore with an 8-episode season,
Yeah.
but the episodes are 30 minutes long. You don't have the time to tell a story. And then in the case of no matter how much I loved it, a show like The Acolyte that cost as much money as it did, that's not acceptable to have that little content for that much money. And that doesn't help, especially when you're dealing with,
Mhm.
online trolls. But I mean, it's even happening with shows that are kind of hybrid. Like, House of the Dragon premieres on HBO, but I think a lot of people think of it as a streaming show because they watch it on Max. That show is also not going to start.
Hold on, HBO and Max are the same thing.
Well, I mean, like people watch it on like the channel HBO, like on cable. But I think most people still think of it as an online exclusive, like a streaming exclusive. You know what I mean? And that's another one. They're not going to start filming until next year. And it was like 2.5
Yeah,
years.
but
since they-
again, that's clearly the Game of Thrones model.
yeah. There's too many people going for that, and it really is kind of ruining.
Why are we both looking at our phones?
Well, I'm pulling up my list now because
So-
I'm out of things that
I've
I
been
have
watching-
off my
I'm
head.
pulling up the list of movies that we've watched.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've been watching some stuff.
Yeah, what'd you watch, Chris?
Well, no, it's regarding like shows like this and why things are failing, and it's so many of these shows they're focused on just events happening one after another, and they're not following the classic and but therefore formula
Sure.
for writing.
What are we talking?
That's basic storytelling.
Yeah.
And but therefore, like that's how you tell a story of a show, and instead it's just events, and people are getting bored with it. Like the seasons just go and go and go. It's like, okay, what's happening?
Yeah.
Well, here's where I think, if I may, Chris, interject a little
Well,
bit.
Star Wars is the biggest offender right now.
I think part of the problem comes from people want to binge something when it's on streaming. They want to sit down, they want to watch 6 or 7 episodes and be done.
Yeah.
Still, something has to catch your brain and keep you interested.
Yeah, but the Disney Plus model is I'm going to release 2 episodes and then I'm going to do one every week.
Yeah.
And it I don't know, even the HBO Max model of, one. The series that always do better
The
are the
series is
ones
precious.
that just let you binge them. The Boys, they do 3 episodes at a time.
Yeah.
Things like that.
I love that show so much.
And
That
I think
show is so great.
I think that's a good thing with like Critical Role has they do their animated show that like they animate their campaigns and they put it on Amazon Prime. Those are shorter episodes because they are cartoons, and so they're smart enough to release like 4 episodes at a time because then you get through.
This is what you watch at
an
work,
arc.
right?
I'll say even the boys, they've been
No.
guilty of this. These
No, I watch
last few
much
seasons.
more attention grabbing things.
The boys has managed to stay entertaining, but they need to get.
There's too many penises exploding on The Boys. It's uncomfortable.
quite literally.
I won't go into the. Never mind.
I did. So this is actually something I saw today. I didn't know this. Did you know Judd Apatow is directing a movie about like the Pepsi Coke
Yes.
war?
Yes.
I'm kind of looking forward to that. I
So
don't know.
Apatow produced a documentary. I think it was about a musician or a band or an era of music. I don't remember exactly what it was about.
Mhm.
And from that, he decided to do a movie about Coke and
Gotcha.
Pepsi, and it will not star Seth Rogen.
No, but I mean, I like that sounds kind of like it almost gives me the same vibe as like that Weird Al mockumentary that came out like
The one
They-
with Harry Potter.
yeah with I almost said Daniel Logan. That's a different
Daniel Logan.
Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Okay, and then the last news bit I got for you, I also found out about this today.
By the way, did you know that Daniel Radcliffe was approached to play Tiny Wolverine in Deadpool and Wolverine? But because of his run on Broadway, he couldn't do it.
I love that.
Yeah, I read that the other day. I was like, that's amazing.
SAG-AFTRA members are I
Currently
don't know-
striking. Video game voiceover actors.
So
are currently
video game
striking.
voiceover actors are striking. There is like some solidarity with SAG, but
It's about AI.
yeah, because they're looking to like they're trying to like get people's likeness and then use AI to recreate for games. It's really fucky shit. You should
So
definitely
instead
read
of
up
doing
on it.
motion capture, they want to use AI to generate things.
exactly.
Yeah.
They wanna-
because
they want-
actors get paid for motion capture, and they don't get paid for AI usage of
Yeah.
their likeness.
But so I think it was it's from today. 700 members of the SAG-AFTRA Guild are calling for protection for actors who are expressing pro-Palestinian or pro-ceasefire views in the ongoing Israel-Palestine conflict. And also,
You mean the war that's been going on for centuries?
yeah, the war that's been going on for centuries, where an apartheid state is
Not the one that
crushing-
started during Biden's administration.
where an apartheid state is crushing innocent people beneath their heels. But this isn't a political podcast, so I can't talk about how Israel's doing genocide.
Can
But-
we stop using the word doing genocide?
I said committing.
No, you said doing.
Did I?
You said
Okay.
yes.
Israel's committing a
Here's
genocide.
the thing.
All right.
Hassan says doing genocide.
Does he?
That's how
Okay.
I know that you watch Hassan.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love
But
Hassan.
doing genocide is not what happened.
I do love Hassan. But okay.
Committing genocide? Yes.
All right, fine. Let me reiterate
Performing genocide? Yes.
then. Let me reiterate then.
Doing?
Benjamin
No.
Netanyahu and Israel are committing genocide
Why are
against
we-
the Palestinian people. Fucking fight me, Netanyahu.
Stop it. This is what I'm
Um,
talking about. Angry blah.
But among the so I did the part that kind of grabbed me. That was like, oh, this
I
is
don't
cool.
disagree with you. This is not the platform. That's all I'm saying.
Among those who signed were Mark Ruffalo, eternally woke. I love
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo. He's a bit of a shit lib.
He's like
sometimes, but I
Bernie
love him.
Sanders, but an actor.
Yeah. Rami Youssef, Susan
I love
Sarandon.
Rami. Rami's
Yeah.
amazing.
um,
Susan Sarandon's a little crazy, so let's not use her
Yeah.
as our.
Melissa Barrera, which is not surprising considering she was fired from Scream.
Who the fuck
for
is
that.
Melissa Barrera?
She's
Is
in the
she
new Scream
oldest
movies.
sister in the new Scream movies.
Yeah, and she got fired for
being woke.
and I think was it Jenna Ortega was like, well, fuck you, and then also quit. And then also Cynthia Nixon, who I think was in Sex and the City, right?
Can I just say,
Yes.
watching Jenna Ortega in the press stuff for Beetlejuice,
Mhm.
she has matured exponentially in a period of less than a year. And it's one of the coolest things that I've seen from a young actor in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to watch everything that she does. And I'll be honest, I haven't liked a lot of what she's done recently. But
Gotcha.
watching the person, I'm actually getting goosebumps from this shit. Holy shit. But like the
Like a proud
respect,
dad.
the respect that I've earned for an actor in her early 20s
Yeah.
in a period of 6 months is crazy to me. And it's not about politics. It's just simply about the level of maturity with which she carries herself. The level of support that she's giving Winona fucking Ryder,
Yeah.
who's been in Hollywood for decades.
Yeah.
You know, it's just really cool to see from a younger actor.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
she seems good. I
Yeah.
like her. She hasn't done anything weird yet.
No.
Let's hope. it
The
stays
other
that
thing
way.
is she like remembers the interviewers that they interview with. She had a
Yeah.
guy from Brazil who came in and she's like, I know you. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, Brazil. And she was like, the date and the time and the periodical. I was like, holy shit. And this is a
Holy shit, you
23-year-old kid.
She fucking nailed it.
Yeah. And she's like Tim Burton's muse. It's crazy.
Oh, is
Yeah.
the wasn't that a who was Winona Ryder? Ooh, I can't talk today, man.
Yeah, she
Wabo
was
and
kind
Wawa?
of. Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder.
Yeah. I think up until Edward Scissorhands, or was Edward Scissorhands the first movie she did with Tim?
I think it might have been.
Then came Beetlejuice. Anyways,
She's his Winona.
yeah. I listen to Armchair Expert on a regular basis, and Dax Shepard had Vince Vaughn on,
Mm.
and I have quietly been watching Vince Vaughn's new show, Bad Monkey. We got screeners of it from Apple TV. Thank you. And I watched some of it. Took a little break because there was other stuff for me to watch, and then I finished it after his interview with Dax. First of all, I never realized how insightful of a human being Vince Vaughn is.
Yeah, he's kind of like shockingly not a fucking douchebag.
I won't say he's overly intelligent,
Yeah.
right? But he knows what's up,
Mhm.
right? And there's people that I respect the shit out of who don't act like they're the smartest person in the room, but can read that room the minute they walk into it, right?
Yeah.
And that to me is what I got from the interview with Vince Vaughn. And man, it made the second half of Bad Monkey so much better knowing who he was as a
Yeah.
person or hearing who he was as a person.
He's really cool as like
I encourage people to go watch it. It's a
Yeah.
great show. It's got kind of Dexter vibes, right?
Yeah.
He's investigating a serial killer in Miami. It's pretty cool. And it's very funny. So,
He's really fun as like a dramatic actor. Because like True Detective season 2
that
kinda
horror movie was really the first thing I've seen him in.
Really?
The Halloween one. It
Oh, like
wasn't
the-
Halloween.
the
I don't-
body swap one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what that's called though.
Yeah, I can't do it. It was a
he-
terrible movie, but he was great in it.
Well, he was in True Detective season 2, which critically acclaimed show. Most people hate season 2.
I hated
But
season 2.
He is fantastic in season
Woody
2 of that
Harrelson is
show.
what made that show.
Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey really kill
Yeah.
it in season 1. Season 2, I kind of like it. but,
See, I like Colin Farrell as well.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Like
in
The
that.
Lobster was a great movie.
Yeah.
A little quirky, but that kind of worked. He played a great penguin in the new Batman.
And then series coming out.
Yeah. And then one of my favorite movies of all time is Tigerland, which is a Joel Schumacher
Yeah.
movie filmed with handheld 8mm cameras. Great movie.
Yeah.
Vincent D'Onofrio was in it as well.
Oh,
Good movie.
okay, yeah.
Good movie. So Tigerland is another one. But there was a batch of movies that he made, like Age of Adeline, I think, with
he in
Blake
Age of
Lively. Just things like that were just terrible movies. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you're so good. Stop just taking things that you.
He's like, I'm just happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to find out that he started a charity for people with kids with debilitating diseases because he has an adult son with a debilitating disease.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. But
Dang.
there's a documentary that's coming out about his son that he produced and directed.
Okay.
Which
You
is,
know, speaking of documentaries, because I do love a good documentary, there's one coming out about the life work of John Williams,
who's that?
the composer for Indiana Jones, Star Wars.
Did I convince you that I had no idea who that
I
was?
yeah.
I was like sitting here very worried for a moment.
Kinda, yeah.
I was
Honestly,
like, what's happening?
that he's one of those ones where like, man, if you don't know who did the composition for a movie, probably John Williams. He's done a lot.
Oh, shit. Because we're talking about things. Did you see the announcement today? Euphoria season 3?
I haven't even seen Euphoria.
Euphoria season 3 has been announced. Everyone's been waiting for it to be announced. It will start production this fall, and all of the currently living cast is returning, which is
Did
pretty
someone
cool.
from Euphoria die?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Mac Miller clone. What's his name?
Yeah. Which is kind of, didn't Mac Miller die too?
Yeah, but God, what was his name?
I can't remember, but I do remember that.
I don't
happening.
remember, but he was really fucking good in that show
Yeah.
too.
I gotta be real. You're dead on with Mac Miller clone because I kind of thought he was Mac Miller.
Yeah, no. When I first saw it, I thought it was Mac Miller. I was like, oh, I must have filmed this before he died, but I can't. It's a very like British Isles name. I just can't think of it.
Speaking of shows getting a season 3, they did announce Interview with the Vampire season 3.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. You brought that up the other day. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm of the generation of the books by Anne Rice. I read the books. Then the Tom Cruise movie with Kirsten Dunst and Brad Pitt came out, and I loved the movies. I can't bring myself to watch that show.
How come?
Just because I loved the book and I loved the movies so much.
So I will say I had watched season 1 of Interview with the Vampire back in like.
Who's in that? Isn't the guy who played the castrated soldier in Game of Thrones?
Jacob Anderson.
Yeah.
Jacob Anderson. Sam Reed is Lestat. Eric Bogosian. He's been on like Broadway a lot.
Right.
I watched season 1 of that show back in like 2022, I think, and I loved it, but I had no knowledge of the books or anything like that, right? And so I loved the show, and I was like, well, I can't wait for season 2. And that finally came out, and it aired and premiered and wrapped like within the last couple of months. And so my partner and I were like, well, we'll go back and we'll rewatch season 1 and then watch season 2.
Angus Cloud.
Oh god, yeah, that's right. And season 1 and 2, since you've read the books, season 1 and 2 encompass the entirety of the first book, Interview with the Vampire. And so watching it like
which isn't the first book, for sure. It was the first published, but
okay.
like Star Wars.
Gotcha.
Vampire Lestat was the first.
Gotcha. And so season 1 and 2 encompass that whole book.
You like how I slipped that in there, Chris?
That was good. I think Chris is dead. He's like, don't worry.
He's in there boofing a couple beers.
Wow.
Watching those 2 seasons together as a complete story, honestly, probably one of my favorite shows of all time, but definitely one of my favorite shows on right now. And
what is it on?
AMC Plus. So I don't know if it airs.
Is it
on
broadcast on AMC?
I don't know if it is.
Actually, is AMC even broadcasting, or are they streaming
They
only
do.
now?
They do.
They? Okay.
I think season 1 was definitely. I think season 2 might have gone streaming exclusive, but I can't remember. But
so I have AMC Plus. I may check it out. But I've hesitated simply because I read the book.
Well, and so because we enjoyed season 2 and the story so much, my partner went out and she got the first 2 books. She got Interview with the Vampire and the Vampire Lestat. Has like started reading. We've been kind of like immersing ourselves a little bit in the internet fandom to see what other people think about it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And this is an interrupting question.
Oh, okay.
I was listening to Whiskey Ginger with Andrew Santino today.
Okay.
And he had Kumail Nanjiani on it.
Okay.
And Andrew Santino kept referring to his wife as his wife, even though Kumail Nanjiani and everybody who listens to the podcast knows that his wife's name is whatever his wife's name is, right? And Kumail kept referring to his wife as Emily.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered, like Dax Shepard always refers to his wife as Kristen, right? And in other podcasts that I've listened to, there've been many people that refer to them as their wife or their partner.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued as to what the decision is. At what point do you start referring to that person as, I say Wendy all the time, or you would say Molly or whatever, right?
Yeah, I think I try to consciously say my partner and not give away too many of her details. Not that she has a problem with it, because I've asked before and she said, I don't really care if you say my name on there, because that doesn't really give away a lot of information.
I mean, we've said her name many times.
Yeah.
And I thought about that before I said it out loud, just so she's aware.
I try to remember to say my partner just to grant her a little bit of
This isn't because you said that. It
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
raised the
No,
red
you're
flag
good.
in
You're
my
good.
head. Like, at what point, let's say Chris's wife decided she wanted to listen to the podcast,
Yeah.
right? And he kept referring to her as his wife as opposed to at some point down the road by name. Like, at
Yeah.
what point do you transition from my wife, my partner, my husband,
Yeah.
whatever?
I think for me specifically, I just try to remember to say my partner simply because my partner has her own separate internet presence that has nothing to do with our show. And by virtue of what that presence is, has to be a little more family friendly. And so I try to just I also try to do that if I ever
So in your case, it's not about choosing to say my partner versus her first name.
yeah.
It's instead,
I'm just trying to be
I don't want to put my stamp on what already exists.
yeah,
for her.
I'm trying to be
Okay.
courteous to the fact that she has a platform that can't really, not through any fault of her own. It's not like she's giving me these instructions or is like ashamed or anything, but the two can't really mingle because the audiences are pretty
Sure.
different. And so I just try to be respectful of that, just to grant that extra little cushioning. I'm sure that there's no one here who would be able to follow from the trail
Don't
from me
challenge
to
anybody.
that one.
Don't,
Sure.
don't say it.
But
I understand what you're saying.
she's managed to keep her identity from that profile like pretty scrubbed.
Well, and I mean, you know, as someone's partner, it's often essential to have your own identity.
yeah, yeah.
And so I appreciate that. But and like I said, this wasn't a question about
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and she. It was a question about,
Yeah.
because I heard that today in Santino's podcast. I was like,
Yeah.
that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
That Kumail will say Emily,
Yeah.
and Andrew will not. He
Yeah.
just says my wife. And I just thought it was interesting,
Yeah.
and that's why I asked. I
Yeah,
thought it
no,
was-
it's and you know, we're lucky enough that she's built a measure of success on her own on an internet platform. And you know, I don't wanna
and
one
it's
day,
not OnlyFans, guys.
yeah, no, it is not. It is not OnlyFans.
Only feet, different
It
story.
is. It is. It, I because this has been coming for. It is a gaming related space, so
Right.
it is.
And it has come up before.
Yeah.
And we don't have to go too deep into this.
Yeah,
Again, it
yeah.
was just a
I
question
get you,
around
yeah.
the term partner, wife, spouse, whatever versus name.
Yeah. No, I.
And
Totally
I've always
get you.
just wondered about that.
Yeah, I totally get you. But anyways, the word
Sorry.
the word from her, because I mentioned that
ADD.
you said you read the books at
Yeah.
work and you were like, I can't really bring myself to watch it. She specifically was like, well, tell him, as someone who is now reading the books, and she tends to like the books more than the adaptations. She thinks
But is reading the book after the fact different than reading it before?
not usually for her.
Okay.
No, she said specifically the book elevates the show and the show elevates the book. Like they both do each other a
See,
service.
and that's going to be difficult for me because the books themselves are pretty elevated.
Yeah, but I mean the show has such respect for the book that some of the episode titles are straight up line lifts out of the book, or like there are some things like the one that she pointed out to me that was kind of fun was one of the episodes in season 2. The title is "Don't Be Afraid, Just Start the Tape," and that's the first thing that the
Yeah,
character
that's the first thing
Louis
that
says in the
Lestat
book.
says to the interviewer.
Yeah, and so that's like such a cool thing to me, and like they lift
Because
a
he
lot
sees his hand trembling as he's about to push
Yeah.
the record button.
and
Yeah.
so like the
See, I remember that
Yeah.
shit out of that book.
there's a lot of like reverence for the book in the show. There is some stuff they changed, like as I've been made aware in the book, the character Louis de Poindelac is like
I heard the girl's a little older. Too.
yeah, she is. Louis in the book, I've been made aware, is like a slave owner.
Yeah.
And through virtue of the fact that they cast a black man in the show, they chose to omit that.
Yeah.
And also the timelines kind of moved up, like rather than it starting in like the 1700s. it
To be
starts in,
fair,
like,
he
the
was
40s.
French
Well, yeah. But
in the
so-
books.
Yeah, so they alter that. I mean, there's just some alterations like the time,
And then moved to the United States, which is where the book is based, and owned a plantation.
yeah.
So,
Or
yeah.
like it's kind of fun. Like I think in the book, the present day when they're doing the interview is 1973, and they're like casting
However,
back.
Louis was Brad Pitt, which is not a Southern gentleman.
I do like Jacob Anderson a lot more.
Yeah.
Honestly, the cast for the show is perfect. I've only seen the movie once, and I wasn't that big of a fan of it. The cast for the show, I think, is fan-fucking-tastic.
I'd be interested if you watched it after watching the show.
Man, I might, but I have such a hard time with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt now.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something that bothers me about people who discount a body of work because of one thing about a person.
Well, so my thing is, I don't discount the work. Like, I still will say, like, they've both been in like great projects and
Yeah.
everything. But for me, it's more of I see him and I'm like, man, that's just a bummer because I really liked you, and now I know that you're like you've got some shit in your closet, and so it's more just a bummer for me. Like it did. Like I
Yeah.
still watch World War Z because I like.
It
I kind
reminds me a lot though of the Linkin Park thing, right? Emily Armstrong, the new lead singer of Linkin
of
Park.
sure,
She's an exceptionally talented artist. She wrote a letter in support of a friend, and then
but
found
that's
out the details and found out that that friend admitted that he was lying about all the shit. And 2 years ago, put out a statement saying "fuck Danny Masterson,"
sure.
and now she gets this massive gig, and people are shitting on her because of that.
Yeah, I mean, at least I'm not. I have not. I've read a little bit on that. I don't. I haven't seen a ton of it. I think sometimes it gets a little out of hand. For me, it is just like it's just a personal disappointment. It's seeing a person being like, man, I can't. I don't like it. It's the same thing as like Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter is still a fun story and a
Yeah.
good story, but J.K. Rowling just
Oh,
bums me the
fuck
fuck
J.K.
out.
Rowling.
Like she just bums me out so
I am
hard.
excited though. HBO Max is casting their series right now.
Yeah, I heard they're having some trouble finding leads though. They've went to an open casting call now instead of like they were doing like a narrow.
But that was
focus
the
call.
point. The production staff and the director said that they want no name actors, just like
they?
the Harry
Okay.
Potter movies, but they want to stay true to the
Yeah.
books. So
I wonder if they'll cast age appropriate, or if because then we wind up with kind of a Stranger Things incident where it's
well,
like fun at
here's
first.
the thing.
and
I
then
would
it's
love
real
that.
weird.
Like, look at the kid from Percy Jackson, right? Like,
Mm.
he's grown massively, but so did Percy Jackson in the books, right? So it's kind
Not
of
familiar. So I'll take
those were great books.
it. Really?
Yeah. All right. Let's run through movies that I've watched. You can tell me if you've seen them. We can talk about them. All right.
I have one that I'm really excited about that I finally.
Okay. Well,
watched.
let's talk about that first.
No, you talk about yours.
Okay, Apple TV Plus, Matt Damon, Casey Affleck, The Instigators.
I have not seen that, but I want to.
So
Is it worth it?
I started watching it, got a little bored,
Okay.
paused it, and then realized that I must have just been tired
Okay.
because I finished it, started it over and finished it. And really good, surprisingly. Really funny, really good. Another Boston caper, obviously. But basically two bumbling idiots who get involved in a heist. And Ron Perlman's in it, plays the mayor of Boston.
I love Ron
Pretty great.
Perlman's a nice guy.
Yeah. So
I'm
The
into him.
Instigators, currently out on Apple TV Plus.
Yes. All right. What would you rate it out of 5?
I'd give it 3.5 out of 5.
All right. I think
Yeah.
anything above a 3 is safe to say is a recommend.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good watch. You're not paying $13 to go to the theater. So.
That's
Borderlands.
fair.
I'm gonna preface this by saying I love the Borderlands video game.
Sure.
For the longest time, probably one of my top 2 games, along with Destiny. This movie wasn't a Borderlands movie.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of people say that.
It was characters from the game, but it was not a Borderlands movie.
Yeah.
Some of the things that make Borderlands unique: 210 million different weapon combinations. And it just didn't exist in the world in the movie.
Yeah.
Do you remember we talked about the Taron Egerton Robin Hood and how the Jamie Foxx
Yeah.
character could have been played by any black actor?
Yeah.
And that's and I say that because Jamie Foxx just felt underutilized in that role.
Yeah.
That's Kevin
Hart.
as Roland. In the game, Roland is this giant hulking character.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart in the movie is smaller than Tiny Tina,
Yeah.
who's 14 years old.
And so it's like it almost feels like they're trying to leverage star power to
It
get.
almost felt like a parody.
Yeah.
Now, Jamie Lee Curtis, the character she played is named Tanis. Little awkward, little touch of the tism. Perfect. Perfect casting. She was fantastic. If they were to do a dream casting for an actual Borderlands movie, I would love Jamie Lee Curtis to play Tanis.
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett as Lilith, no. Tiny Tina, I can't even remember the little girl's name. But
Ariana Greenblatt.
Thank you, Ariana Greenblatt. She's fantastic,
Yeah.
and she's perfect as Tiny Tina.
She's had a good run lately.
Yeah.
She's in a couple things.
The other thing is also very mature for like a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a creepy way. I mean like she carries herself extremely well.
Oh yeah, wouldn't have thought it until you said it that way.
Yeah, PR trained, very PR.
Oh
trained.
yeah.
But Kate Blanchett and Kevin can go. And then the stupid voiceover work for the bulky guy who, yeah, I don't know.
And
It was disappointing.
Isn't Jack Black claptrap?
I didn't have a problem with Jack Black as a claptrap.
I like Jack Black, but I am getting a little sick of the shtick. I think I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm over it a little bit.
You know, he was on Armchair Expert a couple weeks back, and I was like, you know what I'm realizing? You know how Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds in every movie?
Yeah.
I think Jack Black is becoming that.
Yeah. Where it's like they're always like, oh, we need a character who's like, it's funny that he's chubby and he's got crazy hair and he's gonna do the weird hand things.
And he's gonna sing really weird notes. Yeah.
Mind the block.
Scared the fuck
That
out
was
of
a
me.
perfect Jack Black, actually.
Yeah, so Borderlands 1.5 out of 5.
Don't watch it.
I
Or
mean, you
pirate
can
it.
watch it, just don't expect it to be a video game movie.
All right.
Trap with Josh Hartnett, M. Night Shyamalan's movie.
I've been trying to watch this because I either hear it's terrible or it's awesome.
So that's standard for M. Night.
Yeah.
That's standard. People hate it or they love it.
I
There's
loved-
no middle ground.
I love The Lady in the Water, and I don't care what anyone says.
I love
it.
The Lady in the. I loved. The only movie of his that I didn't like was Old.
Yeah, that one was kind
But
of.
I can respect Old after sitting back and thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad. I just wasn't super into it.
I think, and we talked about this a little bit when Old came out. Chris may remember this. I don't think you were here. But he knows what he's doing in these movies.
Yeah.
The intelligent ones and the stupid ones. He knows what the fuck he's doing. I think he wrote Old to set up for a sequel, and the sequel is the people that were watching The Beach.
Yeah.
I think that now that I think back to it, right, like that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But because of the terrible reviews and all that stuff that Old got, it's never gonna happen.
Yeah. That was a Tyler episode. I do remember watching
Trap was good.
Mhm.
It was well thought out. It was well written. The character that Josh Hartnett played was it weirded me out because if you think of serial killers, and I'm a little obsessed with serial killers, paranoia is never something that bothers them,
Yeah.
right? John Wayne Gacy was never paranoid about what happened. He actually bragged about things and was very,
Yeah.
you know, that's kind of the feeling that you get from serial killers. Jeffrey Dahmer, kind of the same way, right? That gets to a point where they feel like they're untouchable.
Yeah.
The entire movie was a lot about Josh Hartnett's paranoia.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That one key point bothered me.
It almost feels
The
like
other thing is it feels like there was a forced ending that makes you think there's a sequel coming.
Gotcha.
And I hate that.
Yeah. I almost wonder if it's because I feel like most people would probably associate paranoia as a more dangerous emotion than like confidence. And so if you're trying to, in a short time, establish that this guy's dangerous, I think the quickest way is
but
to make him
paranoia
paranoid.
comes from fear, not from anger.
But I don't. But I think depending on the way it's played, most people wouldn't think of it that way. Because I've seen
I don't know,
I've
man.
seen clips and I get the paranoia, but I almost, to me it feels like he's a trapped animal, and so you're like, oh, okay, he's like real dangerous because he's real.
I mean, there's
freaked
a
out.
couple scenes where he does showcase the panic, but there's a whole lot of paranoid, and it just didn't feel right to me.
Gotcha.
Like if I'm writing that character of a serial killer, I'm overly confident that I'm going to be the one who gets away.
Yeah.
You know, everyone knows the concept of the movie. They've surrounded the arena. They know he's going to be there.
Yeah.
Right. And there's never a confidence that he knows he's going to get away. He spends the entire time fighting to find ways to get away.
Gotcha.
And that to me just didn't sit right from someone who slightly obsessed with cults and serial killers.
Sure. That's fair. Out of 5.
I'm like a 35-year-old white woman who loves serial killer documentaries.
Are we gonna start a serial killer podcast?
No.
Popcorn killers.
No. Killer Tribunal? What?
Oh, actually,
Oh, actually. So out of 5, I would say 3 out of 5.
that's encouraging to
See,
me.
you're not thinking I already have the perfect name for said podcast, but I'll keep it to myself because I don't want to give it away. I'll share it after the show.
If you say
Buy
it,
up the domain and then we'll
if
talk
you
about
say
it.
it right now, but then say trademarked after, no one can take it.
Not true.
That's not true at all.
Oh, sorry, you have to say TM and you have to go.
Hashtag TM. Okay, so that's Trap, and you haven't seen that.
I am not, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, this one was actually pretty good. Fly Me to the Moon, Scarlett Johansson and
Oh yeah,
Channing
you were
Tatum.
telling me a little bit about that.
Okay, so here's the deal. Everyone has a conspiracy theory around the moon landing. Everyone talks about this. Oh, it was fake. It was filmed in a studio. This is an Apple TV Plus movie. I think Scarlett Johansson produced it.
Mm-hmm.
And she plays a PR representative brought in by NASA to sexy up the astronauts in the landing after the explosion of Apollo 11
Yes,
or whatever
yeah.
it was. And then it gets to a point where, oh, the camera shot's gonna look like shit. So what we need to do is we need to have a backup option just in case the signal disappears. So let's build on the soundstage, right? So it's playing
Sure.
off the conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
And that's literally what the movie's about. It was good. Channing Tatum actually played a character that was not himself, which I appreciated.
Nice.
And I like Channing Tatum. I think he's approachable. I think he's funny. I hope they make a Gambit movie.
Oh my god. Right.
Also ironic that Scarlett Johansson is Ryan Reynolds' ex-wife, and shortly after Deadpool and Wolverine comes out, also
Oh yeah.
Fly Me to the Moon with Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, there you fucking go.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't know. It was a good movie. I would
Yeah.
say 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
Again, Apple TV Plus, so it's an easy watch.
My moon landing conspiracy is that there's actually on approach to the moon a portal, and we've never actually been to the moon. It was just Newark, New Jersey.
You're fucking weird. All right, so let's talk about this next movie quickly because we're running long here.
Yeah.
So I was on Reddit the other day, and someone posted an AMA said, "I won the Mega Millions. Ask me anything." And in the conversation that happened in the AMA, this person fell off the radar, changed their name, and disappeared after they won. Because they won in Ohio, and in Ohio you can anonymously claim your winnings. And he sat down his family, offered them, I'll pay off all of your homes, I'll give you this much money, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right, because immediately he was approached by all of his family members. And his family members sued him for a conservatorship, trying to take his money.
Under what premise?
It's fucking Ohio, bro. Who knows? And the judge laughed them out of the court.
Good.
So he changed his name and just disappeared and has been living off the grid on his Mega Millions winnings,
Nice.
which he's invested. He's up like a 10% on his portfolio since he won.
Damn.
But, and then I watched this movie, Jackpot,
Yeah.
right? Did you see it?
I loved this
Okay.
movie.
I loved it as well.
I
but
loved it.
Holy shit. Comparing the stuff that the guy said happened on the AMA to the movie,
Yeah.
clearly it's not that extreme,
No, yeah.
but it's like a genuine thing.
Yeah, the fact to me that like if we were to introduce a concept of like you could kill them for the money,
Yeah.
people would try to fucking kill
Well,
you for that
and
money.
that's the story. It's been out for a minute. Is it also on? It's on Amazon Prime, right?
Yeah, it's on Prime.
Prime Video. So the concept is you win this $1 billion lottery. It's $1 trillion. I don't know. It was a massive amount, but you have 24 hours to survive, and you win the money, or you can exit a determined zone, which is Los Angeles, basically,
Yeah.
and give up the lottery, but people won't kill you.
Yeah. And then if someone does kill you, that's it. They win. They
Yeah.
get the money.
And then there's groups of like protection agencies that will protect you from the what's it called, what's that movie where they're allowed to kill people once a year?
Purge.
Thank you, The Purge.
Yeah.
So it's kind of The Purge meets
Yeah.
and John Cena is kind of a lone agent who does that. And Aquafina is the winner who
Yeah.
kind of stumbles into the winning in this future version of Los Angeles. It's kind of a cross between Idiocracy and The Purge.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
John Cena and Aquafina together.
John Cena's
are
fucking
awesome.
brilliant in this movie, dude.
John Cena is like such a fun actor. I
Yeah.
fucking love him in
Yeah.
everything.
And Aquafina, I haven't really gotten to a place where I've liked Aquafina in a lot of things.
Mhm.
I liked the character she played in Crazy Rich Asians.
Mhm.
I'm happy that she's coming back in the next one.
Yeah.
But this is probably the first movie where I was like, I felt like her acting was upgraded. I feel like she did a really good job, and she was genuinely funny in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
And she also played scared really, really well.
Yeah. I've loved her since like the first thing I saw her, and I can't remember what it
Simu
the fuck it
Liu
was.
was also in this.
Yeah, Simu
Yeah.
Liu was great. John Cena's kind of the highlight of it. He's just so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know why. I don't know if my brother watches the show. He reminds me of my brother, and like for some reason, like
That's
they
funny.
have a very similar like personality and like kind of whatever. And since I don't know if you're watching, you're John Cena, but like so whenever I see him and stuff, I'm like, whenever I see John Cena and something, I'm like, this just makes me happy because he's like a funny
Yeah.
guy, and
Did
also
you
just
know
like
he
feels
wrote
familiar.
his theme?
The
Yeah, he wrote that.
Really?
I thought that was funny, but yeah, he
Oh,
wrote
okay.
that. Yeah.
But no, that was a good one. I actually watched it because recommended by my parents. They watched it and
Oh, yeah.
told me that they really liked it.
What? So they liked it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mama B, good stuff.
I thought it was Mama and Papa B
Yeah.
were fans, so I was like, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. So for me, that's like 4.5 out of 5.
Oh,
And
yeah,
and I don't give those, but that movie was well written. It was well acted. To me, it's one of those movies that I wish had been in theaters.
Yeah,
But I almost appreciate the fact that it was on streaming because it's going to be more open to people.
yeah.
But the other piece about it is like Idiocracy took decades,
Yeah,
took 20 years for it to become a cult classic.
yeah, for people to come around.
Like, I don't think this is going to take so long. I think it
No,
just takes
yeah.
people watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would even say too,
If you have an Amazon account, watch it.
yeah,
It's fun.
save it. I would say save it for a day where you're feeling maybe a little bummed.
Yeah, rainy day.
I watched it after a really stressful day at
Yeah.
work, and I was like, this is just good. This is
Yeah.
just a fun, good
Stressful
movie.
day at
I'm
work.
sure someone would call. Well, it was a solo day.
I'm sorry, what?
I was covering a lot of stuff, and I was like, man, I'm just super stressed out.
I
I'm gonna
think Chris
watch
is
it.
having a stroke listening to us.
It's just a fun one. I'm sure there are some people, if you know, who would describe it as soulless, who would say, "What's the real point of the movie?" The point of the movie is it's funny, and John Cena and Aquafina had great fucking chemistry in it, and Simu Liu is so good as a douchebag villain. It's just like him and Barbie dialed up. It's so fucking funny.
You know what's fun about Simu is like I've seen him in movies where I fucking hated him and in movies where I fucking loved him.
Yeah,
And I still feel the same about the guy.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the guy is like, first of all, he's a massive hip hop head, which is amazing.
yeah,
Second of all, he can sing.
yeah.
Third, he can act.
Or he does a lot of the like martial
Well,
arts shit.
he has a martial arts background.
He's
So
kind of a badass.
it's crazy, but and the other thing is he also is cast in the new Crazy Rich Asians movie, which is awesome, right? Because I mean, obviously representation is important, but the recognition. So John Woo, who directed Crazy Rich Asians, his evolution, by the way, like we could have an entire podcast about that.
We should.
But he said he had cast Crazy Rich Asians and they had started production on it. And he was looking for a place to put Simu in it
Mhm.
after he met him. He didn't see a movie he was in, he didn't see a play he was
Yeah.
in. Someone introduced him to him, and he's like, this kid's charisma is off the charts.
Nice.
So when they greenlit the second Crazy Rich Asians, he was the first person that John called.
Damn. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that.
Which I thought was really cool. So I'm glad to see Simu getting some love in major motion pictures that are not just Asian American roles,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I like him. I think he's one of the better male actors of our
Yeah.
young generation.
Yeah.
Him and Austin Butler.
I have come around on Austin Butler. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I do like him now. My
Um,
new beef is.
Did you watch any of the media stuff for the bike riders?
A little bit.
That
Yeah.
guy oozes fucking charisma,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. No,
I feel like it's so fucking genuine, and that's what
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate. Is people are like, no, it's not genuine. It feels like it comes from a real place. Like he genuinely loves people.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And yeah,
Yeah,
everyone
I've-
who met him when he was in Indianapolis, that city where they have that big race every year.
Oh yeah, sure. I've heard
That's
of
so
it.
far away from
They
him.
all said he's an incredible human being.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
So-
I've definitely come around on him. My new unnecessary beef is Paul Mescal. Fuck
Ooh,
you, Paul
that's
Mescal.
interesting. Why?
I can't explain it. Because even my partner,
Does he have a punchable face?
kinda, we were talking about it, and she was like,
He's the new Johnny Storm
"No, he's not.
in the Fantastic Four.
That's not Paul Mescal. That's Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things."
You're right. Fuck.
But we were talking about it. And
Paul
she-
Mescal did just get cast in something massive.
Gladiator 2.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, so fucking excited for after that
Yeah.
trailer.
Oh
Holy
yeah,
shit!
no, it looks sick. And like we watched the trailer, and my partner was like, "What are you gonna do?" He's like one of the main. It
Yeah.
seems like he's the hero.
Because she knows your hate.
And I was like, I hope Pedro Pascal beats the shit out of him. I don't care if Pedro Pascal is the villain and Paul Mescal's like, I'm the hero saying it for the little guy. Fuck the little guy. I hope
See,
Pedro Pascal.
this is why people say you're angry. This is why people say you're angry.
I don't know how to describe it. I don't know.
Why do you hate the man?
I can't tell you. I don't know.
You know
he
what?
did.
Until you come up with a Paul Mescal why I hate the man, I will continue to call Lupita Nyong'o my dark chocolate princess.
It's just something about his face. Man.
By the
There
way,
it
I
is.
got permission to say that.
He did. I heard it, unfortunately. It's just something about his face, man. I see him, and you know what I think it was? Actually, the first thing that made me not like him was I found out that he was in that little group text that Joe Alwyn got outed as being in, the tortured men's club, and it was like, oh, I was like, oh, are you a tortured man? Is your life so hard,
Oh my
Paul
God.
Mescal?
He's a
Is life
Swiftie,
so,
guys. He's
is
a
life so
Swiftie.
difficult for you, Paul? Do you and Joe talk about how horrible it is to be tortured white men who are famous? Fuck you. That's actually, you know what? I think we just got to the root of it. This feels like fucking therapy. I think that's why I hate him.
I think you hate way too easily.
I'm definitely a hater.
I
'cause
feel
it's
like
funny.
you need to adjust your barometer.
I think that's fair. I also just think that being a hater is funny to me. And so
I feel like Tourette's is funny to me, and you have a problem with that.
Well, listen, I can't change you though.
And I can
I
change you,
can't
though. I can
change.
encourage you to take a look at your barometer for hatred.
I don't. Now here's the thing. I don't really.
Even if I wanted to.
I don't really hate Paul Mescal. Like if I met him in person, I wouldn't be like, "You smarmy piece of shit."
To be
I-
fair, I would respect you so much more if you did.
All right,
And
bet.
he probably would too,
I
just based
bet.
on things that I've seen.
Set
He
it
would
up.
probably be like, that's
walk up to me,
fucking
and be like,
amazing.
"You-"
His chicken shop date was hilarious.
yeah,
Yeah.
Just walk up to me, and be like, "You."
No, he was such a normal dude. Like he came in a t-shirt, like he just got done at the gym or something. I loved it.
Look at me, I'm a normal little tortured man, and my little
No,
tortured
but his
men group."
charisma was crazy. Like she was like, holy shit.
I mean, I
Yeah.
bet. He's like, "Oh,
It's kind of
Joe
like
Alwyn,
her and
I did great today."
who's the girl in Jack? Girl that's always on the red carpets, the YouTuber, and her and the white rapper Jack Harlow.
Lily Singh?
When he's like, I love you, and then walked away, and she's like, oh my God. Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Paul Mescal, not the same level of hate as for Tom Cruise. But
Dude, do you have that on standby, Chris?
No.
Oh,
I was gonna
Probably
I,
could.
I don't know if I hate Paul Mescal enough to ever generate a soundbite, but maybe. Who
Well,
knows?
I mean, Tyler didn't generate that soundbite. That was edited from an entire show.
well, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
That's
if I'll
what makes it so brilliant is that
Yeah.
Chris took the time after an hour and a
Yeah.
half long show to go through it and edit out those clips.
What I meant is I don't know if I hate Paul Mescal enough that there will be enough clips of me talking about him to actually be able to cut it.
That feels like a challenge.
That tiny little man.
Sorry.
That was so loud.
It wasn't supposed to start.
I don't
playing,
know
yeah.
enough about Paul Mescal to hate him. I'm just, I'm a tortured little boy. No, Joe, they were so mean to me today on the press junket. Fuck.
I accidentally rolled over the play icon in the Finder window.
Oh, and it started playing.
Man, brimming with charisma. Everyone loves him. What are you tortured about, Paul?
All right, what you said there was one movie you wanted to bring up.
I finally watched Late Night with the Devil. I actually watched in the same night, Late Night with the Devil and then Long Legs, because those are kind of the two, like,
That was the one that I was supposed to watch that I haven't watched.
yeah,
yet.
those are kind of the two big, like, horror movies lately. Everyone's like, oh, they're really changing the game.
I mean, Late Night with the Devil was a couple months ago.
It was
for
a couple months
sure.
ago, but it's still getting talked about a lot.
I haven't heard a damn thing about it.
I really liked both of them, but I liked Late Night with the Devil significantly more. Just because I think, and I
Do
actually
you think that Late Night with the Devil falls into the realm of a perfect movie?
no,
Yeah.
no, because when after I watched both of them, I was sitting and thinking about it, and
I thought it was close. I thought it was pretty close.
it's very close for me.
Yeah.
But after watching both of them, I said, I think Long Legs is a better movie.
Really?
I think it's better made. It's
Well, it's clearly better made.
Yeah.
I mean, Late Night with the Devil was made for Shudder.
it's like it's definitely a little more uncanny or scarier. It's got fucking Nick Cage in it. He
Yeah.
does great in it.
Nick Cage.
So
Nick
I think
Cage.
overall, Long Legs is the better movie, but I would watch Late Night with the Devil any day. And like I would rewatch that any day over Long Legs. Not that Long Legs is bad. I really loved it, but something about Late Night with the Devil,
There's
it's
way
the
too
right.
much vomit in Late Night with the Devil.
There
for
was a
me.
lot of vomit.
Yeah.
It was the right kind of weird. It's like the exact kind of weird that when I'm like, when you tell me, oh, it's a movie where they did a late night show. It's like and they
It's
summon
like
a demon.
Blair Witch Project meets
Yeah.
the morning show.
It's the exact kind of weird I want out of that premise of a movie.
Yeah.
Whereas Longlegs, while it is a better movie, and I think maybe a more traditional horror movie, almost
I'm
felt
sorry.
horror movie,
Horror.
almost felt kind of underutilized.
Mhm.
I think
But
it
what
could
is
have been
that
more.
animal with a long neck and a big head? They measure their height in hands. What's that called?
What is happening?
A
It
giraffe?
neighs. They run them at the Kentucky Derby.
A horse?
Oh, it's a horse. So why is it not a horror movie?
Because it's a horror movie.
It's not a horror
I'm saying
movie.
the same thing. I'm saying what you're saying.
It's not a horror movie. It's a horror movie.
That's what I said. Horror
No,
movie.
you say horror.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Horror.
A horror movie.
Horror.
I'm about
Yeah.
to just dump
It's a
Tom Cruise in
horror
here.
It's the
movie.
same as what you say.
No,
That's what I'm saying. Horror.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
No.
Play it.
That tiny little man, Tom Cruise, will come after me. Top Gun loser. How many apple crates you standing on?
Raise me up.
Think you're a pussy and I hate you. And I'm gonna send out an invitation. I'm gonna fight you, Tom Cruise. And I'm tired of his shit. I'm Tom Cruise. I'm still 40 for life. Get me my 4 apple boxes. You're all gonna look up at me. I'm gonna fly this plane for real. Look at me. You gotta digitally DH me so I look like I'm 40 forever. Tom Cruise. He's a little bitch, man. I will fight you.
You know what? There's gonna come a point. Wondery is gonna sign us, offer us millions of dollars,
Nah.
and Tyler's gonna be like, "You can't use that clip anymore until
we
you
want.
pay me. We're gonna have to get a license agreement
We'll
with him."
pay him like $50 in a sandwich.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll get extra too because that's the original theme song. That's the original
That's-
recording.
That is true. But anyways,
Not
Late
gonna
Night with the
re-edit.
Devil, I gave it a 3.5 just on like a critical scale. But for me personally, I would give it a 5 out of 5. Long Legs, I think I gave it a 4 out of 5.
I'm intrigued. What do you think a film school dropout would think of that movie?
You know what? It's just weird and artsy enough that I think they'd be like, it's the breath of fresh air that horror
Yeah.
needed.
Yep. Ironically, that's almost exactly what was written in the review.
Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah!
Don't forget, if you know, film school dropout merch, popcorntribunal.com. Check out the shop link at the top.
Fuck yeah.
All right, cool. Well, that's the show for
Oh,
tonight. We ran
yeah.
a little long.
We did indeed. It
And
is.
Chris
It's
is now
9/11!
what?
It's 9/11!
I know. That's
We're
Oh my
ending at
God.
9/11 on 9/11!
Don't.
Chris's
No.
wife is
What
gonna
have
be
we
so
done?
mad at us.
Oh, we've caused another disaster.
I know.
Oh
It's
no.
okay. We'll all live.
Someone turn
Um,
on the news. It's
Yeah.
like that
So
movie
once
Cat-
again, thank you, Glitch Energy, Space Panda Delta. Thank you to Pup and the Pepper. Thank you to CoffeeDudesCoffee.com. Once again, what's the coupon code through Wednesday?
Oh God. What did we say it was? Off the rails.
off the rails.
Off the rails, all one word.
Yes.
Off the rails at CoffeeDudesCoffee.com.
20% off.
20% off through Wednesday. Check it out.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here. Have a great night. We love you.
We love you all. I'll catch
And
you
now
on
he's gonna
home,
take
Mom
over
and
the
Dad.
microphone and mumble some random shit.
Well, it's not random. It's usually just Star Wars.
Oh Jesus!
I don't know. I feel like I really got a lot of my Star Wars opinions out today. It is a bummer about the Acolyte. That's the thing. Let's talk about that for real for a second. It's a bummer about the Acolyte. I understand there was a lot of people who really loved it. It meant a lot to a lot of people because there was a representation that you don't usually get to see in other Star Wars properties. So I sympathize, I empathize. I loved the Acolyte with my whole heart.
Wait, which one is it? Sympathy or empathy?
Both. I can understand and I sympathize with it.
Is that a person
My-
talking off mic?
It's a ghost. What I would say is don't give up on it. Keep fight. There's a lot of people fighting for it. There's a petition out, a change.org petition. Huh? Yeah, a lot. Like 500,000 people have signed it. Manny Jacinto's fighting. Amanda Stenberg's fighting. Keep tweeting about it. Keep talking about it. Buy the merch if
By
you
the way,
can.
Manny is Filipino. It's Justin.
Is it? Someone told me Jacinto. Okay, fine.
Jacinto.
Manny
That's the
Jacinto.
end.
Bye everyone. Love you. I'll text you when I'm home, Mom and
Goodbye.
Dad.